So now I can start creating the project. I give it the name of the first project, and then country and the city. Uh, let's say Austria, Innsbruck. Then it asks me about the project member. And if I don't want to share the project with anyone else, I can just leave it blank. So I don't have to fill this part of the form. So it's not necessary. Otherwise, you want to add someone else to the project. So, and now we don't want to add anyone. So we just leave it blank. We shift to the next part. And it is about the physical program. And inside the physical program, it asks us about uh, the name of these spaces, the size of them, and the relation they have to the other spaces. Because there is no space entered yet, there is no spaces to add a relation for that. So for the first one, we just need to add the name and the area, and from the second one, we have to add the relation because there is one existing, and we have to provide the relation of the existing ones to the new one. And also from here you can have the access to the document of the termite directly to see more information about it. But I'm explaining everything that is more or less available in this document here. So first I start with the entrance, and then I give it an area of this 3 square meter, and and the areas are in the metric of the square meter. So consider that as well. And then I add the space. Here we go. I added the first one, and then I start with the living room, and I give it a size of 2:4, and then it has the relation to the entrance of 1. What does it mean? The 1. It means that my living room has direct access from the entrance. So it means that the value of 1 identifies that these two spaces are connected directly to each other. We can consider two meaning for that. One, they have one shared wall. It means that they are neighbor and they have adjacency of a high degree. And the other meaning is that they are connected directly. So I can passing living room and directly get into the entrance and vice versa. This is the meaning of the relation 1. And if I don't want to consider any relation between the two spaces, I just can delete the value and leave it blank and then add the space. So now I have these two spaces without any relation to each other. And of course, it's not possible to submit this type of relation, because if you have any space without relation to any other spaces, the uh, the Termite engine cannot identify where to put this space, and therefore you will receive an error before submitting your project that there is one space left without any relation, and you have to take care of it and update the information of that. So now let's say I submitted these two spaces, but I forgot to give them the relation. And how can I do that? I can just click on this edit tab here, and then adding a new relation, and then press it again. And there we go. We have the relation for both of them updated in real time. Why it happens? Because the relation between two spaces in layout is always in two directions. It's not possible that you have relation from one space to another one, but you don't have it in vice versa. So it's always in the two way. So you have that's why when you update one relation for one space, the corresponding space will get the same relation as well. So now let's continue to add more spaces to that. Now I'm adding the third space, the kitchen, and I give it the area of the 18, and I connect it to the living room, and I just can leave it blank from the entrance because I don't want to consider any direction to that. Or I can consider the relation of the two. And what does it mean? If I consider the relation of the two, it means that the kitchen and the entrance, there is one space, which is living room here, in between of them. And if I want to get into the kitchen from the entrance, I have to pass one space in between. And this space in between is living room now. So that's why we consider it the relation in degree of 2. So now I add this third space and I can see that it's added here. And then I come back again here to update the space list. And remember that this accepts at least 5 spaces. So in order to give the request to the termite inside the colony, you have to provide at least 5 spaces in your project. If you have 4 spaces, the project does not accept it. So it's specifically for this colony, and that's it. So if you want to submit a request, always consider to have at least 5 spaces. And the minimum of the area of this 3 square meter is also the minimum. So you cannot have a space with the size of 2 square meter. So this 3 square meter is the minimum of the size of the area you can assign to. So then we add the fourth space, which is toilet, for example, and then I can add the area of the 3, and I consider relation of this toilet to the living room and to the entrance again, and then I add it to. I don't consider any relation between of the toilet and the kitchen. That's it. Just leave it blank. And then there is a lounge that we have, and I want to give it the relation of the the area of the 16 and the relation to the living room 1, and the kitchen also 1. And there we go, we add this space, and then it comes to the room 1, and I give it and it's better to always, one thing just came to mind, it's better to always consider one underline or just like this to avoid any space in between. It's easier in the data entry, prevents the possible errors that can come after. So we consider room 1, and then it comes to the area 20, and I want to connect it to the launch, and yeah, that's it. We add the space, and because the lounge is already connected to the living room, and then I just consider the relation of the room to the lounge is okay, because the lounge is already connected to the other spaces. Everything is connected to each other. If the lounge wasn't connected to any other spaces and my room was only connected to the lounge, it was an error because the relational graph wasn't complete. But now it's complete because everything more or less is connected to each other. And then I come to the room 2, and I give it the size of 16, and it's connected to the room 2 by 2 and the line by 1. Why? Because it's somehow giving insight that these two spaces are connected to each other through the launch. And then we come to the bathroom, and we give it the size of 6, and it's connected to the launch. And then we add this space, and here we are. And if I want to modify anything, as I mentioned, you can just click on this blue button and then edit what you want, and then just press it again, and that's it. And if you want to remove any space, you just press this button. For example, the entrance, I delete it. Now there is no entrance, there is no space with the entrance name, so I can add it again, size of 3, and it's related to the living room. I add it here, but here my entrance went down. So if I want to bring it up again, you can see that I can bring it up by this, by pressing this arrow. I can shift it up. So now the entrance comes up here. And now I just click this model, and I set which space is the starting space, and then I submit the project. So Here is my first project. Once I create a project, it will automatically redirect us into the project management. And inside the project management page, you can see it's not blank anymore. My first project is represented here now, and inside it shows no mounts. It means that there is no design, no layout inside. So mounts represents the layout. Once you create a project, and for that specific project, you ask the termite inside the colony to generate something for you. We call these mounts. So this is the concept of the termite. And here we are. Now I can select the project. It opens the project for me. And now you can see the new tab of the drawing is added to the project. So it means now inside my project, I can open the drawing and generate some design. So the user of the termite is by default added to the members because we created this project with the account of the termite. And if I want to add any new member, I can just write down the ID and define a rule for them and then adding them. If you want to sync these projects with your CAD software with Termite Nest, you will need this project ID beside that API key that it comes into the additional video after. And you can see my request number is still 15 because I didn't generate anything. I just created a project. So this number is only depending on number of the generations that you requested. So you can have 10 projects without any requested generation, but and therefore you still have your remaining number of the generation 15. So but inside one project you can use all of them, or you can dispatch it into several projects. So it's how you use these numbers. That's based on your choice. So more or less, that's it.